Okay, name is Brent McClanahan II, and I'm doing this video for my class, EDTE 3308, and we're told that we could do 3 things, and I chose to do a YouTube video because I wasn't able to take pictures. So here we go. Issues to be addressed by all students. Section A says identify the district. I went to the Rosedale Union School District, which is located off of 2553 Old Farm Road in Rosedale, which is a suburb to Bakersfield, California. And Rosedale District has approximately 5,809 students enrolled at this point in time, and the grade levels that they serve are K through 8. Section B asks about the board president. The board president's name is, I believe, and hopefully I don't mess this up too bad, Trish Froelich. She's the board president. The total number of elected board members is 5. They have 5 different board members, a vice president, a clerk, and a secretary, and then you have just a regular member that's on the board. And that was interesting. The board meets once a month. They meet every first Tuesday of the month. So I went on September 5th at let's see, the board meeting started at, I want to say, 6 o'clock. So they have a they meet with each other. They meet at 5 o'clock. The board meets at 5 o'clock. From 5 to 6 is they have a closed session. Then from 6 on is an open session. So that's what time I got there. It was 6 o'clock. Excuse me. Describe all types of business the board is required to address. They address pretty much finances. They address teachers being applying for a job or actually getting the job, or retiring, people that are retiring, or canceling or terminating their employment. I'll get more into it when they ask me about how I felt about my experience. The general format atmosphere in which the meeting was conducted. So when I walked in, there was you walk into the district office, and then you sit inside the little lobby area, and then you wait, and then to your left you have the superintendents of school, and then to your right are the board members that are placed on the wall. Their pictures are on the wall, and you wait until the session was over. I had gotten there a little before 6, so I had to wait until the closed session was over for us to go, me and a few other students to go into the, students and teachers and staff to go into the open session. So when I walked in, it looked much like a courtroom. I don't know if anybody is familiar with a courtroom, but besides the fact that it has 2 different sides for the plaintiff and the defendant, pretty much it was kind of like a rounded kind of area where you had the superintendents on the left side of the little board that it's like a U shape, kind of like a horseshoe. Like, the board members on this side, and superintendents were on the left side of me, and then the board members were on the right side. And they were all that's how they all sat when you walked in. And you sat down, there were rows of chairs you could sit in, and I want to say about 10 by 12, and you just sit in any chair you want to. And then they wait until everybody sat down, and they close the door, and then they say, this board meeting is in session, and then they proceed. I'm gonna tie in F and G impression regarding the experience. One of the things, there was a few things that I found interesting. The first thing was that when I got there, we sat down and everything, they said we're going to do the flag salute, and everybody kind of was looking around like, am I going to stand or not? I thought that was pretty interesting. And that's probably the only time any of the board members, superintendents locked eyes on me. Other than that, they kind of just went about their own way, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And so then the next thing that happened was there was a student body council, and the student body president of American Elementary decided to come in and give a speech presentation on, I believe the word she used in her presentation was how to make American great again. Very interesting. very, very interesting. Yeah, so, I mean, she didn't run off the dialect of our president, but she did, use the slogan, just changed up a little bit. But I think the thing that she was mostly talking about was that she wanted to make sure that there was Licorice Fridays, that they had more access to recess, that, there were little things that she decided that she wanted to talk about on behalf of the students, and I thought that was very interesting. And when she was done with her presentation, the board and the superintendents gave her, a well-around praise, which she deserved because she was very intellectual, very, articulate with her words. They said that after she was done and she was able to leave, that they did address, some of us in the audience said that every night or every board meeting they have a school that represents any one of their schools in the district. So whether it be elementary or middle school, they'll have the student body come and give a presentation of how the school is doing and what are the things that you're trying to implement at the school. I believe that it's the president of the student body that does the speaking, but I'm not too sure. But she was the president. But anybody could do it who's selected. It's just at their own discretion. So that was pretty good. One other thing, I was going to say that she said she wished that they had more school spirit and a growth mindset, and I want to take this away from her. She did talk about how they wanted to raise money for Children's Medical Miracle Network, and I thought that was really interesting that, kids are trying to give back at an early age. It was pretty good. And then I started to notice that when she was done, they started to one by one go around the table, and each person had to give their presentation on what they wanted to talk about tonight. One of the things they talked about, the chief business officer talked about a salad bar for the middle schools that they want to implement more healthier meals for lunch. Assistant superintendent reported reading was about math intervention. The dean, how the superintendent went around to all the deans in the schools and at the middle schools and asked them how can we keep this relationship going? What do superintendents need to do for deans, and what can deans do for, what they need from superintendents to keep the middle schools fluctuating at an easy flow. Assistant superintendent, another superintendent talked about a new language arts program. They want to open up a new language arts program, that the one that they tried before in the past didn't work out, and they want to implement a newer one that has better creative ideas. And so that was another thing they wanted to do. So let's see here. Let me see if there's anything that really, one of the things I was talking about was the Rosedale CAASPP miscalculation for the statewide data. So apparently they as in Rosedale School District had put in a couple of numbers that were miscalculated, and they recalculated these numbers and said that in the ELA program, English Language Arts and Math program, that within the county, the entire county of Kern, so Bakersfield City and Tehachapi and the Rosemont and all these other, Greenfield, Panama, all these schools that are in the county, right? They said that Rosedale in 2016, 2017 is way surpassed. Their district surpasses everybody in the county. So in 2017, so far, they have numbers that say that they have accumulated a percentage of 59% over 40. And that's in ELA. And then in math, Rosedale District has a percentage of 49% over 27. So those were some pretty significant numbers that they were talking about then. Another thing that I thought was really interesting was the money. They talked about money. They were talking about their total expenditures and how much they used, and they were excited that they had last year they had $56.39 million, and in total expenditures they only used 56.07 of that $1 million, and so they still had some money left over to use to different things for the program. So they were very excited about that. I had no idea. I was actually, had no clue that school districts got this much money, and pretty much the bulk of the money is to go to teachers. And then after you pay teachers and you pay this and you pay that, but they pretty much have a really well-rounded system of how they pay out their money, which is pretty good. So, the one of the things they talked about they're excited about is that they had an enrollment this year of 5,809 students, and they're excited because that's 200 students over last year. Some of the things they talked about that they weren't excited about their overage of students was that some students that lived in a certain boundary of schools had to be overflowed to other schools, and about how parents were not too excited about that, and what they can do to make it better for the parents to not have to have their kid be bused or have to have the parent drive their students far away to a different school. So they talked about relationships with north of the river, that they enjoy they have their sports, any kind of basketball, football, soccer. They go through north of the river. They're talking about how they want to continue building a relationship with north of the river now and in the future. So let's see here. The motions. One person would motion, and then you would have two people second the motion. So I motion this, who else will help me kind of thing. Is I, and then all those in favor. Then everybody would be like, oh no, excuse me. I motion it. I motion it as well. I second that motion. And it's like all those in favor, aye, and then they keep on going. So, the last thing that was talked about was their ability to just try to go out try to do the best they can this year. This was their first board meeting, and so they really wanted to touch on about how this year they want to just do better than any previous year and continue to grow in the Rosedale district, and to make sure that they minimize on any excessive spending and try to capitalize on the money they do have to make sure that the kids have a perfect place for them to go to school. They discussed having different kind of paying more money to different schools. While they can't do this for all schools, they can give money for all schools to have like the boards, electronic boards that they have inside the classrooms. They usually pick a school each year till they give money to that school. And if they were talking about how the parent, the PTC, can help out greatly by having other parents pay money for the school to get, technology. Pretty much technology was a big topic in this, at the end of the conversation. And pretty much saying that technology is moving faster and is moving, as it grows, we need to grow with it. That's pretty much how the board member, vice president pretty much summed it up. The meeting was over when the board president said that, does anybody else have anything else pretty much to say? And I said no. And then she adjourned the meeting at 7:41. So I was there for an hour and 41 minutes. And I mean, I wanted to take a picture, but they didn't want to take a picture. So it was kind of like, well, I'll just do a video then. Don't want to force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. So, all right. Well, Brent McClanahan the second, and I hope that I touched on all bases. You know, I think Rosedale Union School District is a pretty good school district so far. Two of my kids attend one of the schools in the school district, and there are some complaints that I have voiced in the past, and now that I've been to a board meeting, I plan on going to many more after, because I feel like there needs to be more diversity. Yes, that's the best way I could put it. All right, thank you.